Alright class, it's October 3rd and it's time to learn more about flipping your class as we finish out this unit on asynchronous digital learning and communication. Digital communication anyway. An interesting thing about asynchronous, remember, is that it is not live. So that means there's a recording involved usually with asynchronous, or that there is some activity that students do that doesn't have to be done at a certain time and place, but can be done before the deadline at any time by the student. That's asynchronous type of activities as a reminder. But this week is just about flipping your class. There are some readings to complete. And if you look at those, there's some educators evaluating flipped classroom. There's an article about that. And then you'll also find 4 tips for flipped learning. And it looks like I need to fix that one, so let me do that real quick. Okay, so 4 tips for flipped learning should be working now. It takes a moment to come up, but there it is from Edutopia. And so those are some good tips. Remember to follow some of these readings that you have used and make sure you create some engaging flipped lessons. And then finally, the bulk of the work really, well, presentations on netiquette. You'll watch a presentation on netiquette, or this idea of having good behavior while you're online, and teaching your students about the same. And then the bulk of the work again is this assignment, the flipped classroom, and that's due by the end of this week. So that means by the end of October 8th, it must be submitted. I have talked about the particulars of this assignment in more detail in a previous video, but remember that you have to have 2 10 to 20 minute lessons and then 2 class periods of about 45 minutes each that would go with the lessons. So again, it's the flipped classroom. You need to create your lessons, record them, and then also have those class periods planned in a couple of lesson plans. So again, each lesson should be about 10 to 20 minutes in length. It should be recorded. It should be available to me so that I can see it. It should include a lecture or presentation that could have been given in a face-to-face class, although again, remember that this is very much shortened, because when you're not doing a live presentation, you can go as quick as you want, not have Q&A. Each lesson includes audio and visual elements. It includes good voice and audio quality, and each lesson is accurate and clear. So make these engaging lessons. The way that you want to do flipped learning is quick, simple, and clear. And you want to make sure it's engaging so that students will watch it even while you're not there, making sure that they are watching it. So those are 2 lessons, and then you have a lesson title and summary. Now remember, for the recorded lessons, you will be required to use at least 2 different asynchronous communication tools, 1 for each lesson. So don't just use, for instance, Screencast-O-Matic for all of your lessons. You have to use 2 different types of tools for that. So those are just some final points that I'm making here. You can look up the rubric and all this information under the drop box, the flipped classroom. And that's listed in this week. Finally, for this week, excuse me, you can do the discussion board now that we're creating or learning to create a flipped lesson. What is the connection to your current work or position? Some of you have already talked about this a little bit in the discussions, but I thought I'd find out a little bit more. What would creating a flipped classroom be useful for your current or future work? Why or why not? Remember that this flipped lesson does not have to be implemented in your actual classroom if you are a classroom teacher. And certainly not all of you are classroom teachers at this point in time. So you can create a lesson and not implement it, or you can implement it if you feel like it's good enough for your class. But what would the usefulness of this be? Would this be useful to your current or future work? And why or why not? So that's the discussion this week, and that rounds out all the activities for this week. Remember, if you want to gather more information about this assignment or any other things that have happened in this class, I create a video each week. And so you can look back on the last 2 weeks for this unit and watch those videos. I send them out in emails, and they're also in the news. And once you watch those, you'll get more information about what's going on in the class. Also, have a great week.